There are countless books, scriptures, commentaries, and traditions through which people try to understand Hinduism and Dharma. At the same time, many critics agree that social evils like caste, discrimination, and inequality stem from the same very text. So, today, let's explore this topic carefully, honestly, and respectfully. In today's world, we often see self proclaimed spiritual leaders spreading sensational and unverifiable stories like Sri Ram having five fathers, Steve Jobs getting the idea of Apple logo from Neem Karoli Baba's bitten apple, and many other dramatic narratives designed to attract followers. Most rational people know that such claims are difficult to verify and even acknowledge with certainty. Yet, millions of people still believe them due to repetition, faith, and emotional influence. Now, imagine ancient times when knowledge was primarily transmitted orally. There was no internet, no historical verification, and no way for common people to fact check claims. What influential people repeated often became accepted truth and was eventually written down. Today, many people believe Lord Krishna himself created caste divisions because of a verse in the Bhagavad Gita. The translation goes like this: the four Varnas were created by me according to the quality and actions. But notice something important. The verse speaks about gunas, that is qualities, and karmas, that is action, not birth. In fact, many scholars argue that original Varna concept may have referred to division of responsibilities in the society rather than rigid caste hierarchy. Over centuries, this may have gradually evolved or being transformed into a birth-based system. But if Krishna truly intended spiritual hierarchy by birth, then several things in Hindu tradition itself become contradictory. Examples: Krishna himself was raised among cowherds. Sage Valmiki, traditionally believed to have come from a marginalized background, became the composer of Ramayana. Vedvyasa, the composer of Mahabharata, was born to a fisherwoman. Saints like Ravidas, Nandanar, Kanakadasa, and many Bhakti saints from non-Brahmin communities became revered spiritual figures. So, did divine figures truly endorse discrimination by birth, or did their societies slowly reinterpret spiritual ideas to fit social power structures? Even the famous Sambhuka episode in Uttarkanda of the Ramayana raises similar questions, right? In that story, Sri Ram is described as killing a Shudra ascetic for performing a penance. Many scholars and reformers have questioned whether this portion may have been later interpolated because it appears inconsistent with the broader image of Sri Ram as the upholder of Dharma. History across civilization shows that religious texts are not always untouched documents frozen in time. They often pass through generations of copying, interpretation, editing, and commentary. And this brings us to another interesting example: Sai Baba of Shirdi. During his lifetime, Sri Sai Baba lived very simple, stayed in a mosque, accepted people from all religions, and repeatedly emphasized quality and humanity over identity. After passing, the Sai Satcharitra was written by Govind Raghunath Dabolkar. Now, here's something worth reflecting on. Throughout the Satcharitra, terms like Brahmin are repeatedly emphasized in various contexts. Some readers feel this repetition subtly reinforces caste identity even while describing a saint who largely transcended such divisions in practice. Could this simply reflect the social language of that era? Possibly. But critics also argue that repeated terminology in spiritual scriptures can subconsciously shape how future generations perceive authority, purity, and spiritual legitimacy. And this pattern is not unique in one book or one religion. Throughout the history, societies have often projected their social structures into sacred narratives. This does not mean that every scripture is false. Okay? It does not mean every Brahmin or religious scholar acted with bad intentions. And it certainly does not justify hatred towards any community. But it does mean we should have the courage to separate eternal spiritual truth from human social conditioning. If Dharma truly stands for truth, compassion, justice, and inner evolution, then no human being can be spiritually inferior by birth, right? Now let's come to questioning historical interpretations. Questioning historical interpretations is not anti-Hindu. In many ways, questioning and debate are deeply rooted within the Indian philosophical tradition itself. Take any scripture, for example, right? Parvati questioning Shiva, Janaka questioning his guru, Ashtavakra Gita, Arjuna questioning Krishna, Bhagavad Gita. So, questioning historical interpretations is a part of our culture and it is certainly not anti-Hindu. I know conversations like this can invite criticism and emotional reactions, but difficult questions are necessary if society wants to evolve. Understand this. Faith becomes stronger and not weaker when it is open to introspection, honesty, and truth. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. God bless all.